So why do you normally have problem? Anytime you go to do your certificate rental, they will tell you to come and pay government back 1,500, 2,200. So why do you normally have this problem, and how can you possibly solve this problem? So I'll be explaining everything in this video. Now, certificate rental will be starting on the 30th of April 2025, this particular year. So you can quickly go and book your appointment, gather your document together, and go and start that certificate rental now. Not that when they are about to close, that is when some of you will not be running up and down to say you want to go and do your certificate rental. So you can quickly go and book your appointment. Now, first of all, so what is even certificate rental? Certificate rental is what we call tax return. It's an exercise you do to return to know if you have paid the accurate tax. So when you do your certificate rental, government will check everything and balance your tax. They will now say, you did not pay enough tax. Come and give us back the tax that you did not pay completely. At times they will do it and say, it's like you overpaid us. So come and take some of the money, come and take the money that you overpaid back. So you return some tax to the government that you did not pay to the government, or the government return back to you. Certificate rental is not bonus. So if government pay you back for your certificate rental, it is still your money. It was the money you worked for that you gave to the government before that they return to you. So if government also asks you to come and pay them some money, is because you did not pay them that money before and you have eaten that money. That money was meant for the government, but you ate it. They ask you to come and pay them back. So we'll explain everything practically in this particular video. Now, there are three levels of tax here in Italy. We have the 23%, we have the 35%, and we have the 43%. Government now said, okay, if you are working here in Italy or you are doing business, and the money that you made from January to December is no more than 28,000, government said you are going to pay us 23% of that money. So for instance, you are working and you work 1,000 euros in one particular month. Government said that 1,000 euros, we are going to take 23%, which is 230 euros that government will take from it. So your company will now pay you 770 euro. Government will take 230 euros. So government asked, okay, if you now put all this money together and it's not up to more than 28,000, that is when we'll be taking 23% from it. But if your salary from January to December, whether it is business or it is fabrica that you are doing for a company that you are working for, if the money is more than 28,000, you are going to be paying us 35%, no longer 23%. That is to say, if you now work 1,000, the government are going to take 25%, which is 350 euro from that money, and they will give you back 650 euros. So the government says, okay, from that 28 to about 50,000, that is when we'll be taking 35%. If your salary or your income is now more than 50,000, in that case, we'll be collecting 43%. So if you work 1,000, for instance, government will remove 43%, which is 430 euros. They will now give you 570 euros back as your salary or as your own. So why do we now have problem? So let's assume I employed you as a worker in my company and I'm paying you 1,005 or 1,008. Naturally, I already did the rough calculation and I know your salary will not be more than 28,000 for the whole year. So I'll be using 23%. I'll remove 23% from your salary and pay to the government. So at the end of the year, when your code now come out, we now discover that your code is 30,000 euros. But me, I thought your code will not pass 28,000. Your yearly income will not pass 28,000. But now we are now seeing 30,000. Meaning I calculated it wrongly because I used 23% instead of 35%. So when you now go to do your certificate rental, they will now check everything and say, sir, your company used 23%, thinking your salary will not be more than 28. Now that your salary is more than 28, you are supposed to use 35%, not 23%. Then they will now do the calculation again. So let me do the calculation for you. Now your monthly income is 30,000 euros. So and your company paid a tax of 6,900 for you. If you use 23% to calculate it, 6,900. That was what your company paid for you. So when you go to do certificate rental, they now say, okay, hold on. This 30,000 now, let's first of all divide it into two. Let's remove the first one, which is 28,000. They'll remove 28,000 and keep it one place. So this 28,000, they will now use 23% to calculate it. So they use 23% to calculate this 28,000. It will give them 6,440 euros. Write it down. Then the remaining 2,000, they now use 35% to calculate it. So 35% for 2,000 will give you 700 euros. So if you plus 700 euros with 6,440 euro, is going to give you 7,140. So that is what you are supposed to pay, a tax of 7,140. But what your company paid for you was 6,900. So if you minus these two, it will give you 240 euros. So government will now tell you to come and pay them back 240 euros. So that is what we call certificate rental. But in some company, they will have what we call congwayo. So once your company already observe, they do their calculation and they discover that you are going to pass that threshold of 28,000, they already know. They will now do congwayo for you either at your November salary or your December salary. That is why some of you will rejoice during December or you will cry during December, because your salary might go up or your salary might come down. In some company, they will do congwayo, help you balance this task. So those small percent that you did not pay before, they will just quickly help you do it. While some companies, they don't do that. They'll just leave it like that in that 23%. When you now go to do your certificate rental, they will now balance it. So you now see that in this case, they will now ask you to pay 240 euros. So this one is just a rough calculation for you to have an idea. I know some of you will say, but my salary is not up to about 30,000. Why are they still asking me to pay? Yes, there's what we call no tax area. Most especially those of you that have 2 kud, 4 kud, 6 kud, two different type of kud, or all those part-time work and all that, or your salary is not too big. I will do a separate video explaining it. Those of you that have 2 kud, 3 kud, why you normally have that problem, I will do a separate video for that. So if you want me to do the video, just write it in the comment section. I will do that. So this is just a rough calculation for me to explain to you why most of the time, if you do your certificate rental, government will tell you to come and pay them back. It is often because your company did not use the right task to calculate it for you, because they thought you were not going to exceed some certain threshold. But at the end of the day, maybe because you did extra time, because you worked, you did more hours, so you were able to surpass that threshold, and it might not affect you when you do your certificate rental. So this is why one of the problems, this is one of the understanding about certificate rental. So please make sure you share this video, try to get to as many people as possible. And don't also forget to use Send. That is the best app to send money to Nigeria with the highest exchange rate. If you put my promo code HeroesTV or capital letter, they will dash you €5 in your first transaction. You can get Send from Apple Store or from Play Store. Thank you and God bless you.